Hallo, Derek hier. Wir hatten vor kurzem ein Q&A von unserer Mitgliedschaftsseite für Englischlerner und hier sind 2 Fragen als Ausschnitt davon, die für euch interessant sein könnte. Die erste Frage hier geht um in so Listen, in Präsentationen, Dokumente, wie man das mit so Zeichensetzung vorgeht. Und die andere Frage, es geht oft in Spiele und Filme aus USA, dass man sehr oft falsche Sprache, Grammatik hört und ob das wirklich falsch ist und ja, warum das passiert. Und dann habe ich meine Meinung dazu. Wurde so, wie man sagt, ein bisschen ranty, aber das ist nicht schlimm. So, hier ist der Ausschnitt für euch für diese Woche. The last 2 questions are quite interesting ones. The first one is to do with full stops in bullet points. And it's often here that as bullet points are individual ideas, the full stop is not needed. And what's my position on this? It's very difficult to give a sort of vanilla flavored answer that's good for all situations. I tend to approach each one as a case-by-case basis. So what we're talking about here is you'll have like a bullet point list in, say, a presentation or a document. And the question is, at the end of each of these items, do you need a full stop or something? And it really depends on what it is. So if say the list is slightly longer, sort of text, say, I don't know, 5, 6 or more words, and each of these is a sort of a sentence in its own right, then I would be inclined to put a full stop at the end of each one, just because. If it's, say, a list of sort of keywords or bullet points that you're just mentioning very briefly, then I probably wouldn't. And if it's, say, a list where you would say in the fruit basket was the following code, and then you have a bullet point list, say apples, pears, banana, I might even put a comma at the end of each one and then a full stop at the end of the last one. But the important thing is to be consistent within the same list. So if you have a bullet point list of items, don't put full stops on some and leave the others and a comma at the end. No, do the same within each list. Now the next list might be a completely different list with a completely different purpose, so you don't have to do what you did on the first one. You can choose a different approach for a different list in the same document. That's okay. But don't sort of in the same list kind of start mixing it up. Okay, so consistency within a list. If it's long sort of semi-sentences, yes, a full stop. If it's just a list of, say, items, you could put a comma, don't have to. If it's just a sort of a list of points of something to remind you what you wanted to talk about, don't really need anything. Yeah, but consistency. And the last one is, I hope I don't get ranty on this, okay, so be warned. So I often hear this phrase in games and American movies, is you okay? And so is this correct? And if so, why? And if not, why is it so common these days? No, it's not correct. The correct thing should be, are you okay? Of course. The question of why it's so common these days, I really don't know. It seems to be for some people, and I'm sorry if I'm being overly generic, it seems to come from the American side of the Atlantic, where it seems somehow cool to speak poorly. I can't put it any other way. I'm sorry if this makes me appear to be an old fart, but I don't get it. So I heard one on a TV show, a late night TV show, where there's woman said, you on your own. I was like, I mean, you're on your own. So there's no time saved. It wasn't a short version, and the proper version would have been far too... No, it's the same length. You on you own, you're on your own. There's no saving here. It's just wrong. Sorry. There's no excuse for it. It may be hip and trendy and come across as being cool, but it doesn't make it right. And don't get me started on this whole woke stuff. Okay, the opposite of asleep is awake, not woke. He's so woke. No, he's awake. Woke is the past tense. And you'll say, he woke at 7 o'clock. Or his alarm clock didn't go off and he woke at 10 o'clock. But woke is not an adjective. It's a past tense. The adjective you're looking for is awake. So please take note. And it's good that people realize it's wrong. Like I say, I don't get it. I suppose maybe you could say, yeah, but language is a dynamic thing. It changes over time, and if everybody says it incorrectly, is it then still wrong? Is a very deep philosophical question that I'm not going to get into here. But for things like, is you okay? No, just wrong. Some people do this deliberately as a sort of a tactic. I don't know if you ever watched the Ali G programs, but this is just a character who speaks very poor English on purpose to give people an idea that he's maybe not very intelligent, and so they don't take him very seriously, and then he kind of gets really hard questions in on his interviews. So he'll say things when he's interviewing someone like, does you think that, instead of do you think? Yeah, so does you think that, and he just deliberately use incorrect grammar, poor language skills to trick people into not taking him seriously. And that's maybe kind of, if it's part of the act and part of the fun, yeah, go for it. But if you just don't know how to speak the language properly, and you try and sort of make out this is just you trying to be no, learn the language, okay? There's no excuse. Ich hoffe, das war interessant für euch. Wer Interesse hat in dieser Mitgliedschaftszeit, Link in der Beschreibung unten. Da ist so eine volle 10 Tage Zeit vor irgendwelche Geld fließt. Du hast 10 Tage Zeit, um alles auf der Seite zu untersuchen und checken und wirklich überzeugen, dass es wert für euch wird. Dann auch nutzt das und vielleicht sehen wir uns da drin. Bis nächste Woche. Tschüss.